the Egyptian Minister of Investment and International Cooperation, Dr. Sahar Nasser. Dr. Nasser, good to see you. You were at this meeting at the White House. What came out of it? What's new?
I think it was a historical meeting, and what's new is that the U.S.-Egypt relationship is back. We are strategic partners, and I think we have a lot in common, and that was the main message that was transmitted from both leaders yesterday.
Well, let's talk specifically about, well, first, in military help. Is Egypt going to step up and help us fight the Islamic State, given the military aid that we give to Egypt every year, which is roughly $1.3 billion?
I think it's very important to highlight here that the two nations have a lot of common interests, and I think the two governments also have a same objective. We're both a nation and government. We're there to defeat terrorism, and I think that's something that we all agree. We're aiming at achieving security and stability in not only in Egypt but across the world. That's the key challenge that we are facing, and we're there to fight it together.
Dr. Nasser, there's been some reporting on potential reductions in aid to Egypt, with certainly the State Department looking at budget cuts. Did those potential cuts come up at all?
I think that the way we look at it is actually a package of partnership and support, economic support. We look at it that we're here to promote investments. We're very keen on having the U.S. companies invest in Egypt. We have moved forward with major legislative and legal reforms, as well as institutional. So that's how we see it. In terms of economic support and economic assistance, what we're negotiating and we're discussing is how can this assistance package with the legal and regulatory reform support more private sector participation. That's the ultimate objective, and that's the sustainability that we're trying to really achieve for our country.
Dr. Nasser, what do you make of the criticism that human rights abuses in Egypt took a back seat during this official visit? There are 5 senators who are planning to introduce a resolution to ease urging Egypt to ease the repression of dissent, and they really wanted President Trump to push for the release of political prisoners as well.
It's very important here to highlight and look at issues within perspective. I think it is very important to acknowledge that now we have a parliament that is really watching and taking into account the checks and balances. We also have a constitution that does highlight and flag human rights issues, and as a member of the government, we're very much committed to human rights issues. And I look, for example, on women's empowerment. And not only that we have 4 ministers in charge of a large portfolio, but it's unprecedented that we have 15% of the parliament represented by women that do seek and push forward human rights issues. We're committed for that on all fronts. That's how I really see the situation. There's sometimes misperceptions about that issue, and I think that's one thing that we are also consulting and discussing with the civil society, with the private sector, with the think tanks, and we want to make sure that our message is there, clear and loud, that we are there committed to support human rights issues.
Dr. Sahar Nasser, Dr. Nasser, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.